Happy Monday, everybody. This is the Pitchlight Chronicles, and oh God, it is a Monday.
He said, guys, everyone in the chat, he said, maybe if I don't have my coffee, I won't make a mistake today. 2 seconds in, you drink that coffee, Tats.
But I am Uncle Tats. I'm here with my boy Rob, and what a weekend for the Yankees, taking 2-3 against the Dodgers. And we saw the fast exit and the fast return of Cabrera due to Allen's injury. And it was great to see that when he came back, he had a little bit of fire in him and was actually a very key contributor to winning both of the games. What was your takeaway from the series overall before we get into the nitty-gritty of it?
Good series win. They needed it after that first game. Severino got smacked around early, and we never really had a chance to come back. But to come back and take the next 2 games is pretty big. Herman looked fantastic last night, which is a good sign. Cole looked really good despite the cramps. And praying that we get good news today on Aaron Judge, because as we've already seen, not having him in this lineup is an issue. And I'm hoping that toe of his is not broken, because then we're going to have another problem on our hands if we're missing Judge.
Yeah, I think the issue with that first game with Severino. Good morning, Donald. And while we'll continuing our good mornings, let's get to the chat real quick. What's going on, Maza? Jonathan, you got FJ in the chat. Steve Schumann, welcome. And you're looking at the start from Severino, right? And what's going on, Damian? And you're seeing it. Obviously, you can't take away from what was already done. But when you look at Severino overall, you take out that first inning, he actually was pitching very well. He was able to, where after 30-something pitches in the first, he was able to at least, give you a little bit more length where you didn't have to go to the bullpen in the second. So that was one of the positives I took away from Severino. He got really roughed up. He was able to battle back, give us a little bit of length. We didn't have to burn the bullpen completely. He put us too far behind the 8 ball. We weren't able to catch up to it, and get the W. And you're going against Kershaw, you weren't going to put up a lot of runs to begin with. So you kind of just you chalk it up. You move to the next day, and that's what they did. They were able to win. Judge going through the wall, holy shit! A lot of people have gone into that wall, but nobody's gone through it. So, like Donald says, that's because he's Superman.
That might be the best catch I've seen. That's definitely the best catch this year, hands down. Bader's made a couple of incredible catches, and Aaron Judge obviously jumped over a wall and saved a home run. But I have to say, running through a wall beats that. Like, that was absolutely amazing. It was selfless, completely selfless. Like, he put his body on the line to make that grab. If that hits the wall, I guarantee you the Yankees lose that game. I know they were winning by 2 at that point, but that catch saves the day, because I think 2-run score. It'll be a tie game. Yankees probably lose in the extra innings, and then it'll be another L. But Aaron Judge saved the day, runs literally through a wall, injures himself in the process to save a catch and get a W. That's who he is. He's a captain. He is Superman. He's superhuman at this point. Like, pretty sure, like, if you removed his Yankee jersey, you'd find a huge S on it. Like, he is freaking underneath it. It's fucking Superman right there. So. Yeah. Like, I think that sometimes we have to pinch ourselves that we are in a position where we're able to watch a player like this every day, like make history on a daily basis, do something special on a daily basis. If he's not hitting home runs, he's jumping over walls or running through walls. I mean, this is an unbelievable baseball player that we're watching, and in my opinion, he's getting better, and that's what's scary. Like, he was pretty good when he hit the 50 home runs. We're like, hey, he's going to be pretty damn good. And he was, but he's just continuing to take it to the next level. He hit 62 last year. And guess what? He's arguably just as good, if not better, this year. It's incredible what he's doing. So we just all have to pray that it's not a broken toe, because that'll be really awkward because we saw how DJ LeMahieu dealt with a toe injury. He didn't. It affects your power, it affects your balance, it affects the way that you can generate power through your lower half. So that's an interesting thing that we have to watch out for. Hopefully, it's not holding my breath, but no, he is special. What an incredible catch! And I just wanted to say a shout out to MH, my agent, MH, my guy, my bro. Even though you root for the wrong team in New York, my brother. Shout out to you, my guy. Thanks so much for joining us.
That just shows how good of an agent he is. Where as a fan of another team, he still has your back the way he does.
Exactly.
That's why he's so hard to negotiate with.
I know, right?
But no, I don't think I'm really crossing my fingers with Judge. I think not playing him yesterday and then having the off day today, I think was like I think there's always good timing for something to feel any pain, but at least he's got 2 whole days to just really evaluate how he's going to feel, and they don't have to rush anything. They had 48 hours to do all the tests and scans and x-rays or whatever the freak they wanted to do.
Did you finish your?
Yeah.
You sound okay. I thought you were going to say something else, but yeah, I'm hoping that it's nothing serious. But his press conference after the game wasn't very assuring because he sounded like obviously he's not sure. He's like, I've never had a broken toe. I don't know what it feels like, but I think you would know if it was broken, right? There's a difference between like this might be a sprain or a little bit of an issue or it's sore compared to because I've broken a bone before and you can tell when that thing is broken compared to how it normally feels. Like I broke my wrist and I knew something wasn't right. So I know it's a different bone than what a toe is. So I don't know what a broken toe feels like, but I
unless
think
it's a hairline fracture, maybe it's that, like where there's pain, but it's not like a huge tear. I'm not sure.
Right. So you're hoping that it's just like if you have to keep him out for maybe like the next 2 games against Chicago, you might be able to survive because they're not playing very well. But at the same time, you saw just yesterday, even though we have Stanton back, but not having him and Bader in the lineup once again, you see the offense was struggling to produce, and our first 2 runs came via groundouts. And you're like, if this is going to be what we're going to deal with without Aaron Judge, then thank God we got him back when we did because we wouldn't be in this position right now. So I'm hoping that it's just if he needs a couple more days, that's the case, and he's good to go. But you have to be extremely careful with him because if you lose him for an extended period of time, that's why it was so important that they put him on the IL when they did last time to get him back in the 10 days. Because if anything else goes wrong and he's out for a couple of months, this team is in a bad spot. And you're seeing why he's so important because runs through walls. He hits home runs in the same game. He's saving plays. He's scoring runs. He's doing everything. He is the best player on this team. He's the best player in baseball. And like Donald said, we need to kind of pinch ourselves because there are people that didn't want him back. And what's up to LI? There are people that did not want him back. Think about that. There were people saying, don't pay him. You don't want too much. $40 million? No. So, yeah, I don't think now can't he get Donald? When Donald gets a raise, that's up to Tats. That's all up to Bobby Tats.
Not when you're getting into, if we have to lose Judge for any significant time, like you were saying, especially on top of Bader being out, I think any of the momentum that we've had and ground that we've gained will slowly, and I'm only saying slowly because we do have some guys back, but without those 2 key guys for your defensive input, productivity, we might just be at a stall in any of the ground we're gaining in the East. That might become a problem.
Yeah, for sure. And now with Nestor probably going on definitely going on the IL as well, we're going to have to hope that Brito comes back and pitches well, whoever they call up in his place. I don't know who it's going to be. It's got to either be Brito or maybe to give a start to Davy Garcia or something. But, yeah, it seems like whenever we take one step forward, we take about 3 steps back because we got 3 players back from the IL, and we could potentially lose another 3. We lost Bader. We could lose Judge, and we're definitely losing Nestor. So, I mean, I'm glad that Stanton's back. He had a home run this first game, had a big double yesterday. Donaldson hit 2 home runs in his first game, which is great to see because they were absolute bullets. They weren't like cheap homers. He crushed him off Kershaw with the first one, was nice, but losing Judge is a whole different story. It's like I would much rather not lose Judge and have Josh Donaldson back, if that was the trade-off. But this is what happens with us. We get some good news, things are going pretty well, and then we get hit with bad news again. It's like the curse doesn't leave. The black cloud over this team with the injuries. And I know Judge's injury, if people want to use the injury plague excuse for him for running through a wall, then they need to stop talking. The fact that if he didn't come out of that hurt, I'd be shocked. The way he slammed into that thing, he broke a wall. He's broken 2 stadiums this year. One with his bat, the other one with his body.
Superman.
No, it's insane. Now, I was trying to figure out, is going through the wall and the robbing the home run, which was the better defensive play?
Running through a wall.
I think it was, even though you're taking a run away from the other team, both of them involved in pretty much stalling out the offense. But going through that wall, holy shit, that was impressive. I mean,
I just think it's very unfair that the guy automatically took another base. It's like if Aaron Judge had anything to do with the fact that the wall collapsed and he ended up in the freaking, out of play. I mean, that ain't his fault.
Yeah, we would have been screaming if it was on the opposite side. We would have been screaming, look, the guy fell over, take the extra base.
Exactly.
It's still the play wasn't dead just because of the catch. There was just the out. You still got to get the ball back in. But that was, there's nothing you can do about that.
They could have done something about that wall because that is dangerous.
That is dangerous. They do have to address that. Absolutely. Yeah. They're saying, especially with the chain link, you get somebody trying to, especially when outfielders are running back. If you're running back with enough speed, most of the time they'll put their hand behind them to feel for the wall. You got your fingers wrapped in that mesh, you're done. So they really do have to take care of that.
What was kind of fun was to see the energy and the atmosphere at Dodger Stadium. There was like a really good, fun atmosphere. It was kind of like going to a game at the Garden. Like you had Spike Lee there. You had a lot of celebrities there. It was packed, and there was a lot of fun on back and forth. We need more of those games. Dodgers, Yankees at Dodger Stadium. That's fun. It's just I just wish it was a little earlier because that time difference is tough for West Coast. But no, I love the atmosphere in LA. They really rock it. More of that, please. For sure.
There are a lot of Yankee fans that traveled. You saw the picture. There were a lot of pictures on Twitter of a lot of the East Coast fans that actually took the West Coast trip for a vacation. So, I mean, the Yankees were very well represented. And a lot of them were saying that the crowd was actually very, it was not as hostile as they thought it was going to be. That everybody was really just having a good time. And it makes you wonder what, with this new balanced schedule that we'll be seeing them on an annual basis. I think that this is real. Whenever you get to the Yankees and Dodgers, it's always got a nostalgic feel to it, no matter how many years separated since the Dodgers were in New York.
Yeah.
But,
right.
It's always fun to watch those two teams battle it out.
You're right.
Yeah, it's the two biggest markets in sports, LA, New York. I mean, it explains itself. And we know Yankee fans travel well. We know Dodger fans travel well. So last time, I remember years ago when the Dodgers were in the Bronx and it sounded like Dodger Stadium. That's how loud they were. They took up an entire section of Dodgers fans. So they travel well. We travel well. So you were bound to get a mix. And it sounded like a lot of Yankee fans were there. It's the same thing when we go to the Angels. It sounds like the Yankees are there. Or it's Yankee Stadium. That's just how New Yorkers, because New Yorkers are all over the place. Yankee fans are all over the place. So, but you got two of the biggest markets in sports, and they hyped this up. That's one thing MLB did well. They hyped this thing up. They had a game on Fox. They had primetime Sunday Night Baseball. they were treating this like a big series, and it's only the beginning of June, but they were treating this like a pretty big thing. And can you imagine what it would be like if it was a playoff series, if it was in the World Series, Yankees Dodgers? It'd be huge. So they need to do this when you got the two big markets meeting up with each other. They need to do more of it, hype it up, put it on primetime, get more eyes on it, and then the people will be into it. And we saw that. Yes, we saw that this entire series, the crowd was into it.
Yeah.
Before we get, I do want to get to the contributions from Cabrera, even with Volpe last night. With the clutch home run that gave really put the game out of somewhat out of reach, but it really the insurance runs was so necessary. But I want to get into the news with Cortez. But before that, just remember, hit that like button, share this video out. Let's get everybody into the discussion, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. But the like button and sharing it really helps us with the algorithm. But let's when you got the news about Cortez with the left shoulder, it was one of those. On top of not only was it, man, that sucks, another guy on the IL, but then it was like, that kind of makes sense of why he's been kind of struggling as the games progress, why he wasn't getting as deep into the games as he had been.
Yeah, I also think because he's going to miss maybe 1 or 2 starts, they're just giving him a break because they've done that before with players that the phantom IL
thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case because I don't want there to be any long-lasting injury because when he's on, he's really good. But when he's bad, at least this year, when he's bad, he's awful. But it doesn't explain like, oh, he's hurt. That's why he's so bad in the 5th inning. It's just because why is he so good the first 4 innings?
Yeah.
So I still can't. I know Donald broke it down so well the other day, but I still can't explain what the hell's going on with him from the 5th inning on. So. I'm hoping it's just maybe a phantom. Let's give you some rest, give you a couple of days off, or a couple of starts off, and then we'll get back to it. But you never know. When they say shoulder, you can't ever immediately assume phantom injury. But he's a pitcher. He's been struggling. He must be hurt. Let's just hope that it is 2 starts and he comes back and he's Nestor of old.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Donald?
Of course, I'm currently looking at the situation with Aaron Judge because that's the far bigger problem. I think we can survive without Nasty Nestor for a couple of weeks because he's not been that nasty. But it all starts and ends with Aaron Judge. If there's no Aaron Judge for any kind of period, we're in trouble. And I'm reading the Athletic article, and it doesn't sound that optimistic. Aaron Judge described that he's got swelling and that it feels kind of bad. Now, I just liken that to Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter would always say, "It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine." And Aaron Judge is very similar to that. If he could he'd be on one leg and be like, "It's fine. I'll be fine tomorrow." But the fact that he's saying it's kind of bad means it's probably very, very freaking sore. So that's probably not a great sign. So I'm not overly optimistic about that. But I do agree with 4Train Express. Shoulder injuries
they're tough.
They're tough. That's not the kind of injury that you want. It's not like a muscle injury. Like shoulder that'll take time. And the Yankees are not in a position where they can really afford to lose pitchers. They don't have much depth. They traded all away for an injured player in Montas, and Montas is out. It's the Yankees are really like scratching the bottom of the barrel right now, scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do, how they're going to turn to it. But again, it all starts and ends with Aaron Judge. I'm not overly worried about Cortez. If we don't have Aaron Judge, then the season's done.
I think the issue with the Cortez injury, much like the if you obviously pitching and defense, is really hard to compare side by side. Rearranging your outfield alignment with Judge out and not having him in the bat is really going to hurt this team. But let's also not dismiss that not having Cortez in the rotation when we're really not at full strength to begin with, even though we have Semi back now, it really does throw off the rotation alignment and can really put cause an issue because now you have to fill that spot, but we don't know when we're going to see Rodon. It's still a while before we're going to see Montez, even though things are progressing fairly well for him. So it really that's my concern with having Cortez on the IL long term is the rotation alignment.
Yeah, well, if there's any silver line or I guess positives that Clark Schmidt's been better his last few starts. Sevy, I'm hoping it's just a one-off thing. Like he might have been tipping pitches or whatever because the Dodgers just lit him up. But he looked really good his previous 2 starts, so it's only been 3 games for him so far. Garrett Cole had a bad month of May, but he looked great in his first start this month. So you still have Cole, you still got Sevy. You trust Sevy's going to give you a good start. Herman has actually been surprisingly great this year, considering he had a rough first couple of starts, but he's been really good since. And then if you have Clark Schmidt that can give you just quality 5 to 6 innings per start, then you got a strong 4-man rotation. You can live without Cortez for a couple of starts, if that's the case. If we're just going to go by what the Yankees tell us, which is never the case, but if we can just try to play the game of let's say it is 2 starts, we can live with Brito making 2 starts before we get Nestor back. Whereas in the Judge scenario, if they say Judge is going to be out for 2 weeks, we got to pray that Stanton and Rizzo just start lighting it up again because Rizzo's gotten a little bit cold and we need to get Stanton's back. Like Stanton's bat's got to be there immediately to replace Judge's offensive power. Because if you're going to miss Judge for 2 more weeks potentially, and then you got Bader's already out, you got to pray that somebody steps up. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be Volpe because he looked really good yesterday, but again, he's been really bad up until that game yesterday. So you're going to need a lot of guys to step up. You just see how important that one player is to this lineup. Whereas with Nestor, he, like Donald said, he hasn't been very good this year. So it's like if you miss him for 2 starts, we'll live with it. If you miss Aaron Judge for 2 weeks, maybe more, you're going to struggle to keep that momentum you have going right now because we've built a ton of momentum. We're only 6 games out, and we were 10 games out. We thought the season was over. Now the division's still a possibility. So, and that's because of Aaron Judge. we need him. So it sucks losing Nestor, but it would suck even more to lose Judge for a extended period of time.
So I'm reading further in this Athletic article, and so Nestor Cortez is saying that his shoulder feels pretty darn bad. He says that what he was noticing is this was happening in between starts. So right after his start, he'd be in real pain. And he says that he'd still feel pain the next day, the day after, and the day after that, after each pitching outing, which says to me that that's a real issue. It's also interesting that he's got a 14.67 ERA after the 5th inning this year, which is the worst in the majors.
Yep.
It stands to reason that that may well be due to this shoulder injury that we're not aware of. That it's wearing down his arm and he's getting tired and he's starting to leave pitches up in the zone and making it very, very easy to hit. I think that makes a lot of sense because he doesn't have his normal his movement and deception in his pitches lately. Maybe this is a shoulder injury that's been causing his struggles.
I don't. That's why I was starting to question if it was a lot of if there was something structural with him. Was it just all the innings that he's thrown since he got deemed nasty Nestor? There were so many different variables of what was going on with Cortez. It's hard to pinpoint. But if his shoulder's nagging, it might be like you're alluding to. I believe. I think from what I gather, what you said, it just could be he's feeling fine in the morning, but as he's throwing, that ache is starting to come back, and that could be a factor. So it's until we get the actual, until they release the results of any of the tests. It's really just speculation right now. It's the only thing we can really say is not having him in the rotation it's not going to throw the Yankees off completely, but it is going to affect their game plans, until he comes back into rotation.
Yeah, and again, hopefully he's only out for a couple of starts, but if he's feeling pain in between, like every day up until his next start, and then it has to be coming back, by the time he's getting into the later innings. And if that's the case, then yeah, it explains everything. But it is still interesting that he's not feeling pain, but it's like obviously the more pitches he throws throughout the game, it's just conveniently when he gets to that third turn through the order, and it's like, oh, here comes the pain again. So maybe that's the case, and I don't know. I would like to think that they're just being cautious with it, obviously, because you say I don't feel my shoulder feels hurt, so they're gonna put him on the IL. But if they say 1 to 2 starts, that's like 10 days. Like, do you really feel like it's gonna be gone in 10 days if this has been something that's been plaguing him all year? That's why I can never trust Aaron Boone whenever he says these things with injuries. Like, he'll be out for a couple of games, and then he's out for a month. So,
yeah.
Well, that's why I put together the Yankee Dictionary of Injuries. Day by day means we'll see you in a month. 2 months, we'll see you in 6. And when they say day to day, we'll see you next season. That's just the way that the Yankees are. They're so, cryptic with instead of just giving, and I know you don't know how players are going to heal. Even if it's something that they've dealt with before, they might heal faster the second time. It might take longer the second time. We've all gotten in, we've all suffered an injury, and it's always different every time around of how the body handles it. So I get that point. Just instead of just saying, look, we're not sure yet. When we get information, we'll let you know. There's nothing wrong with giving that answer at a press conference with these injuries.
It is crazy what Rob was saying that, we got a couple guys back and now we've lost a ton of players. Let's not forget we lost Ryan Weber and Greg Allen as well, as Harrison Bader and Nestor Cortez and possibly Aaron Judge. I think, obviously earlier this year, I was like, I don't think it's much of a curse. I just think it's the fact that the Yankees are bringing in injury-prone players. But this seems like a curse now because this legitimately is ridiculous. These are it's actually quite crazy. Greg Allen, he's only been here like a couple of weeks and he's already hurt. Ryan Weber has only recently got called up hurt. It's never freaking ending. Never ending.
No, that which makes the Yankees so superior. Even we even go above and beyond when it comes to the IL. Nobody could do it the way we do it. It's just comical at this point that every time you turn around, there's another freaking injury.
Yeah. And it's everybody that's producing. Like Hamilton was pitching out of his mind, pulls his groin, and now he's out for another few weeks. Greg Allen hits a home run the other day. He's hurt. Ryan Weber, who throws as soft as you can possibly throw at the major league level, he's got an injury. So it's like, how else are we gonna get somebody hurt now? We got a player running through a wall, so obviously he's hurt. Nestor Cortez is dealing with the shoulder thing. We just got Stanton back after a while. We just got Donaldson, who we thought was going to be back after 2 weeks. Took him a month and a half to come back, 2 months actually. And these injuries they don't stop. It just continues to happen. And so whenever we get someone back, it's like someone else has to go. And yeah, I don't like to think of the thing being a real thing, being a curse, but I have no other explanation. Look at last year's deadline. Every single player we got ended up being hurt. And it doesn't make sense. And we just got Canely back too. So obviously, and he was out for the first 2 months. And then obviously now we got to lose a bullpen arm to replace him.
That's why Weber went because Canely came back.
It just doesn't. At some point, you can blame the trainers all you want, but MH said, "Here comes the pain." That's our trainer's motto.
And it's so true.
Who else is going to get hurt? And I hate saying it because we're actually playing good baseball despite all these injuries. We're still 11 games over 500, holding a playoff spot, and that's with missing a lot of games from some of our best players.
Yeah, Julietta, we're still waiting to find out. We haven't heard any reports. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess, or later today when they do all the scans. But
I know. We're all praying for your Judgy, my Judgy, Rob's Judgy, Uncle Tad's Judgy, all our Judgies.
No, we need Super Judge in this lineup. he's got to play. We really do.
Literally Superman. Literally Superman.
Well, let's get it. Let's switch it to more of the positive, right? And we were saying, talking. We brushed it earlier with Cabrera. How I think that this really just shows how mentally engaged he is into the success of this team. That he was able to be told he was being sent down. Gets off the plane in Jersey, only to be told, "All right, get back on the plane. You're going back." And he was ready to go. And smiles all around, never had a bad word to say about being sent. He understood the business side of it, and it's just the way it was. He really wasn't playing where there was, it made you question why he was being sent down. What does that say about Cabrera? And does it, can this time around that he kind of had that was this a wake-up call being put on that plane?
It was like a one game wake up call. I mean, I feel more bad for the fact that he had to travel so far in such a short amount of time, because we all understood why he was getting sent down. But if you can have a wake up call in 24 hours, and hopefully that's the case. But we need him.
Let's not read too much into it. I mean, literally, that RBI was a ground out to the mound. It actually went to the pitcher mound. It was
more. I'm
very, very lucky.
I thought the home run was more impressive than the ground out.
Yeah.
But he also had that mishap in left field where he hit the ball rolled around for about an extra 3 seconds. So you feel like you're still seeing some of the issues there. His at bats aren't great. The home run looked nice, but everything else that series wasn't. So I still wouldn't put him in the lineup every day, but you might have to. But you got to look at other players like Bowers, for instance, who's been stepping up. He had a great day. Hopefully it is something for Cabrera if he can just get a little bit of a hot streak going, because we can use it right now. Again, anyone that can step up, let him step up. But I am happy that he's taking it like a professional. He's not whining. He's not being like, I don't know why I was sent down. He's just being a professional and handling it. That's always a good sign. Even though he's 23, 24, he's just like, I understand what's going on here. And let's see if 24-hour wake-up call is the case. We'll see. We'll see what he does. If he plays 2 games against Chicago, we'll see what he does there.
No, it's I think that like they were saying in the chat, I think it's also the timeliness of the hits that he had, that the few that he it's not like he was tearing the cover off the ball going 4 for 5. I mean, that we know that's not Cabrera. But hitting a home run where his power numbers and his elevating the ball has been a problem for him. So that was something I was happy to see for him, especially on the first day back. Like I said, it was 24 hours. It's not like he was gone for 2 weeks. But also knowing that we needed to get that run in yesterday, and he had enough patience at the plate and was able to kind of keep his hands in it and get that ball to the first base side to allow the runner to score. I think that was also just shows, kind of the, that baseball IQ that everybody talks about. Understanding, look, I'm having trouble elevating the ball. I did get one yesterday, but let's not get too ahead of myself. Let me just get that run in any way I can, even if I have to sacrifice myself. I think that told me that he's just got a different mental take on what he can contribute.
If we're going to start applauding ground outs, weak tappers, then we should call DJ LeMahieu the best hitter in the team right now. He's not even making contact. I don't want to look too much. I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to look too much into it because he's still hitting below 200. His OPS is still well below 600. So a one home run is nice, a ground out. But if we're going to start applauding weak ground outs basically to the mound, we kill other players for doing that. We can't be like, that's a heck of a baseball IQ play. I understand what you're saying, though, but it's like we need more.
Who I do actually want to give some praise to, and I'll have to be honest, Aaron Boone. Now, everyone knows my feelings on Aaron Boone, but what I have to say is this team is very resilient. they're losing a ton of players on a daily basis, and they continue to go out there and put their best foot forward. That does deserve to give some credit towards management. And so Aaron Boone's mentality is, if you're down, we still have the same expectations, and so what Aaron Boone says here, I've got a quote here. Look, it doesn't mean that everyone's hot or everyone's doing great. Some guys are struggling. When you do things that help you win games, that's what it's about. A lot of these things are happening. It's just a credit to them. I talk about it with them a lot. Walk in the building with an edge and prepare your butt off and go and compete, rinse and repeat. They're doing that at a high level. Win or lose, we're hooked up on that bench and ready to go. I like that mentality, and that's and does kind of sound like it's translating. Now, do I think he might be the worst bullpen manager I've ever seen in the history of watching baseball? Yes, 100%. But I do think they do deserve a little bit of credit because there's been a ton of situations where we're sending out a AAA team, AAA lineup. It would be Aaron Judge and the AAA team that we're sending out there. And we're still finding a way of winning games. And so, I think he does deserve a little bit of credit for that. And I also like that mentality. I like that mentality that the expectations are the same. Doesn't matter. It's still the same NY pinstripe uniform. So you got to respect it, and you got to play hard and got to win. So it does look like they're doing that. They're doing that at a better clip lately. And it would have been very, very easy after Stanton went out, we didn't have either of them for a while. And we have had so many problems in the pitching rotation, so many problems with injuries. So our bullpen, half the bullpen's injured. It would have been very easy just to put your hands up and go, well, it's not our year. But listen, we're still in there. We're still competing. So I think that does deserve a little bit of credit.
No, I don't think Boone. I think Boone actually had one of his better weekends. I don't think he didn't. There are sometimes you're like, why, bringing in Holmes. Anytime you bring in Holmes, you kind of holding your breath. But I was texting back and forth during the game with Spencer, and he was like, "Oh, watch this. He's going to get 2 quick outs, and then he's going to walk 3." So. I'm like, yeah, it says, that's his MO.
That's what he does, yeah.
And he got the 2 outs, and Boone's like, I get the hell off my mouth. So I was like, all right, finally, Boone got something right.
Clay Holmes has been so much better when he's not the designated closer. Yeah, he got a save in the second game, right? So I think it just takes like a weight off of his shoulders a little bit mentally. It's like not having that closer role pinned on you. It's seemingly working for him. So that's why I don't necessarily mind the whole, let's go closer by committee, although I would like to have a designated lockdown 9th inning guy. Don't get me wrong. I grew up on Mariano Rivera, as we all did. Yep. So we're all used to that. And even post Rivera, we had Robertson and we had Chapman for that 1 year that he was outstanding. We had Miller. So we've been used to having that 9th inning guy. We just
don't.
Yeah, so we don't have it right now. So I'm okay with this bullpen being a closer by committee, but at some point I would like for someone to be that 9th inning guy. Yeah, give me that guy that can just shut it down. I don't know if it'll be Canely or maybe it's Peralta because he looked really good, or maybe it can be King, but he's more of a guy that can give you 2 on any certain night. So you kind of keep him in that 7th, 8th inning area. Maybe they pick somebody up, but. Look, it's working right now. And as used as our bullpen has been, it's still the best bullpen in baseball. That's despite injuries and despite not having 2 of our best guys before the season even started in Efros and Canely. And even you could put Trevino in that category as well because he was great for us last year. So they're still finding ways. That's one thing this team always does is put together a good bullpen despite injuries. They just find bullpen arms. So it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although at some point I would you need that in October. You need a 9th inning guy. That's one thing we do know. You need a 9th inning guy that can shut it down. So if this is still like a trial period the entire season for who your closer is, then I guess that's going to work because it's working.
But I have one thing, though. How much longer do we have to wait for Oswald Peraza to actually get a job here?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's criminal.
It is criminal what they're doing to him. So he's batting. He's got almost a 400 OBP. He's got like an 1100 OPS, and his batting average is in the 320s. He's absolutely destroying AAA. He's far too good for AAA. The fact he's still in AAA is shameful, and he's also the best defensive infielder that we probably actually have. Including the major league level. Like, he is a much better shortstop than Volpe. Sorry, he's a fantastic shortstop. It's crazy to me that he is in AAA. Why do they hate this guy? I don't know. Like, there's no excuse to say that he's maybe not good enough for the majors, because he played really well in the majors last year. And the very few games that the Yankees allowed him to play, he played very, very well. He played excellent defense, and he batted over 300. So, like, there's really no excuse. Yeah, he struggled in spring, but he didn't get to play that much in spring. Like, they were already focused very much on Volpe. So I think the plan was already well. So he was kind of in a hiding for nothing. And when you're hiding for nothing, maybe you don't perform up to your best. So I wouldn't punish him for that spring training. And sometimes people start slowly in spring. That's just the way it goes. So he is killing it at AAA. They have to find a way to get him to play every day. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to find it. I don't care what they need to do, but they need to find it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ted. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just get, two of the things that I heard on Danielle McCartan's show on the Fan last night is he is ranked second among shortstops this year in putouts, and he's in the top 5 for turning double plays for Volpe. So as much as he's had his blunders at shortstop, just like any other rookie would have an issue. Defensively, he has not cost the Yankees as much as we may have thought, but maybe it's just the timing of when he makes the mistakes that makes it that much, magnifies the error, because it might, his one mistake might come later in a game, or when we're trying to really, stop runners from scoring.
Yeah, but if you want Volpe to be your shortstop, that's fine. I'm all in on that. I don't mind that. I do agree that Peraza is the better shortstop, but Peraza's already proven he can play second and third at the major league level. So the fact that, look, I know we applauded him last week, but IKF is not a reliable bat at all. And he's proving it to you. Ever since his 4-hit game, he's had like 1 hit since. So the fact that he still has a spot, I'm at the point where I'm like, just freaking teach Peraza the outfield as well, because I'm sure he can handle it. I don't want that to be the case, but if that's what it's going to take to get this kid on the field at the major league level, then let's do it. We did it with IKF. We did it with Cabrera. We've done it with several other people at a position. I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world, don't get me wrong, but it fits the Yankee mold of just putting players wherever and hope that it sticks. But he can play third. DJ's not hitting right now. DJ's not doing anything right now. You can play him. You don't have to put Donaldson in the lineup every day. Gleyber Torres is either really, really good or he goes ice cold. So you can take him out of the lineup every so often. You can DH him. And if we're going to miss Aaron Judge, then guess what? Giancarlo Stanton's going to play some right field. That opens up the DH spot.
Yep.
You could call up Peraza if Judge has to go on the IL. I'm hoping that's not the case, but you can find a way to use him. You certainly can. Whether it's playing second, third, or short, or even, dare I say, put him out there in left to right field and see if it works. But it has to happen soon. And I know I talked about it the other day. You're going to give Donaldson some time. If he plays well, then you have a big bat you can use. But if he struggles, he's got to go. You can't hold on to him. You just eat the money from next year. And that's something that Pete's brought up, and it's something that everyone's bringing up. It's the right thing to do, because you're not going to cut Donaldson immediately. You want to see if at least he can do something. And his first game back, he hit you a couple of home runs. We can use the pop. But if he goes on this like ice cold stretch, you let him go. And then you give Peraza the spot. DJ's not hitting enough to give him an everyday spot right now. But he's also
I'm a huge DJ LeMahieu fan.
Right.
So Rob, love him. No, he can't play every day right now. He is not the same player. I don't know what it is. They need to fix whatever it is. But at the moment, yeah, there's really no excuse just to play him every single day when you've got someone who is just destroying AAA pitching right now. And he's your future. He should be your future. If he's not your future, then I'm really questioning their scouts because from what I see, I think he's freaking awesome. I do want to go back to Julietta's comment here. This is phenomenal. General manager, if it is broke, let's trade for it. That's hilarious. It's absolutely accurate.
It's insane with these injuries, but and the fact that they already had, and we've talked about it. I think we screamed about it for a whole week of shows. Donaldson has been out. What was the reason not to have Peraza brought up in that spot? It's what you didn't know. You couldn't figure out how to make the I believe he was on the 40-man. So what was the problem? Why not? There's no way that they can give us a logical answer where we're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because we're looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
For such an analytical team to try to convince us that he wasn't ready, I call bullshit.
Yeah, even after his injury, you're like, okay, well, he's going to come back up because we still didn't have Donaldson. It didn't make sense that he was sent back down. But I actually agree with LI here. Right now, Florial should be given a shot. I don't know what else he has to do. I know he's had a terrible handful of at-bats at the major league level, but right now he's killing the ball in AAA. You're down 3 outfielders currently. I don't want to see Calhoun and Bowers in the outfield every day, and I don't really want to see IKF every day because you're seeing him an everyday player, not good. And I don't trust Cabrera right now. Why not? Why not give it a shot? Because at the very least, you were able to hold on to him because nobody picked him up on waivers. So if he plays well, you have a left-handed outfielder, and you kind of just stole him back from yourself because I thought someone was going to scoop him up immediately just because he was still young. He's got speed and there's potential there, but he's also –
Is he on the 40-man?
No.
He's still not on the 40-man.
But they can actually free up a spot. Someone brought it up if they IL Weber for 60 days, they can clear up a spot. But Peraza is on the 40-man, so that shouldn't be an issue. If Judge goes on the IL, get Peraza back up here, and you can.
Rodon's on the 60-day IL as well.
Yeah, well, that was just kind of a formality because it's still retroactive to the day before the season. So when he's ready to come, he can come back tomorrow if he was ready because he's been on the IL for longer than 60 days.
Yeah, it's
point LI worst production in left field, and this not to harp on this because we've harped on it enough, but I mean we talked about it. This was Brian Cashman's decision to make left field kind of a non-priority. You can just throw anybody out there, kind of a thing. And obviously that's not the approach because left field is actually a power position. That's where you want consistency, and you can't really afford to have the worst production in the majors at left field. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, when like we've been saying all freaking season, you got IKF you're trying out there, you got Cabrera, and yeah, they're not your go-to guys, but when you're in a pinch and you don't have anybody, believe me, I would have rather see IKF than Hicks, because at least these guys, Calhoun, Bowers, at least they're trying to contribute to the team. They're not giving up on them.
Hey, we feel like we basically won every game since Aaron Hicks is gone. Just saying, maybe the curse is lifted.
Jake Bowers has stepped up, though. We got to give him some credit. That dude is really he's got like an 800-plus OPS, and Calhoun stepped up. So, yeah, there are going to be cases where the minor league signings work out, but you shouldn't base your entire position off of minor league guys. You know what I mean? Like, we're lucky that they've played well. the fact remains they could have gotten a left field. I keep looking at Yoshida's stats for Boston. Like, the dude is absolutely murdering the ball right now. He's playing out of his mind, and you could have had him. And that's not even like he wasn't even that. He didn't even cost that much money. Cheap. I think there was ways they could have done it. Big mistake. So I mean, as lucky as we are that Bowers has stepped up as of late, and same with Calhoun. In fact, you still need a left fielder because they're not reliable. Like, they're not great defensively. And we've seen that already this year. And you see that's why they pulled Calhoun from the game last night, because they needed the defensive replacement. But your defensive replacement is Cabrera, who hasn't played great this year. And that's why they got Greg Allen, but now he's hurt. So Florial should be getting a shot. If not now, he never will. They got to move on from him instead of just having him play in AAA all the time.
Peraza is such the clear-cut answer to fix some of these problems, but they're going to want it. I think what they're stalling for is they don't want to move him out of the infield. I think that's their problem, which is why rewind again with Donaldson on the IL was the perfect opportunity to showcase Peraza, and just roll with it. Look at the standings, right? When you look at the team that we just played, everybody's looking at the Dodgers. Oh, they're such a juggernaut. They're gonna win we're playing in such a tough freaking division. We pretty much have the same record as the Dodgers. They're in first, we're in third. They're tied with Arizona right now because of the loss last night. But anyone who wants to just talk about how the Dodgers, they're such a shoo-in for the World Series, the Yankees are not, despite everything that they've had to go through, despite the division that they're playing in, they're still holding their own against. I think it was such a good timing to beat the Dodgers, because we needed to show that when push comes to shove, we could figure out a way, whether it's through long ball, small ball, creating runs, we can win games against the better teams.
Well, the Dodgers haven't necessarily played excellent this year either. The Arizona Diamondbacks have played far better than them, even though the records are similar. But yeah, we would be a few games up in the Central if we played there. We'd be right there in the top of the division in the AL West. The AL East is an absolute monster this year, and we're unlucky right now. But we're still only 6 back, considering how bad things were. So yeah, you got to give this team a lot of credit, despite not having a left fielder, despite relying on 80 different left fielders at this point this year. They've been able to make it work, and a lot of it goes down to our key guys contributing. Judge, obviously, Bader when he was there. But this team is built to win at full strength. It's just we haven't seen it yet. Even when we got guys back, other guys left. But this is what we're doing when we're just like 75% healthy. I want to see what this team can do when we're 100% healthy. I think we can win. We're going to win a lot of games when we're healthy if we're ever 100% healthy. I don't know if that's going to be in August, because that's when it looks like I don't know when we're going to see Rodon. It might be, they say July, but I think All-Star break is the safe bet. So we might have to wait until post All-Star break for this team to be 100% healthy. But we're surviving. We are surviving, and to me that's a win, because this team could have been out of it a lot.
I didn't know Yoshida was Batman. I thought it was Michael Keaton.
No, I think the fact, when we go through, and it's Judge goes down, right? We lose him for those 10 games. We didn't have Stanton or Donaldson at that point to just kind of pick up the slack. It was when you're getting to that state of mind where you're the opposing pitcher and you're like, all right, who am I going to have to get through in this lineup? There was no guy that you're like, all right, this guy's going to be a challenge. Everybody was putting together really good at bats. We were getting into the bullpens. And so what it all came down to, this team decided that we're going to beat you by being patient, and not trying to swing at everything. I'm not as worried about this team right now, despite the injuries, because every time we kind of start to feel like, all right, here we go. Here's another guy. Now all that momentum is going to go away. Somebody else is just stepping up, like we saw the 2 homers from Bowers. We've been seeing more consistent at bat from Calhoun. It's IKF had a good week. It's like these aren't anything to scream from the rooftops, but the Yankees aren't losing any ground. So I don't think there's really much we can complain about. As far as who's been the backup players.
I am worried if we lose
Flash,
Judge.
just like Julieta. Rob, are you looking forward to the Flash movie?
Yes, I am.
I can't wait.
But I am worried if we lose Aaron Judge. If we lose Judge for a couple of weeks, then I am worried. Because we've already seen this lineup without him is different. Is very different. As good as Stanton could be, as good as Rizzo can be, we need Aaron Judge because we go as far as this team as Aaron Judge takes us.
Aaron Judge is the key. It really is. It all comes down to Super Judge. I don't think no, that's it. He's not Aaron Judge anymore. He's Super Judge.
The Adventures of Super Judge. You'll run through walls. You climb up walls like Spider-Man. Run through walls like Superman. Freaking hit home runs like Batman. Like he's just super. He's a superhero.
Yeah. Right. No, there's so much. There's so much to point out that's been a positive this year, and equally, there's been as much to point out that has gone wrong this year. But this team has managed to be 11 games over 500. And it's just I don't get it. It doesn't make the numbers and with the roster don't make any sense when you dive into it. We shouldn't be in this situation. We should have been able, with the injuries that we had and the way we were playing, we should have been stuck in the basement. But this team kind of rallied around each other and just really, all right, I don't need to be a superstar. I just need to play my game. And you saw them all staying in their own lane, and they're chipping their way up the ranks.
It's a very
I think that's really something to commend.
It's a very resilient group. I also want to praise Stanton for coming back from injury. Didn't have much time rehab. He only rehabbed like 1 game, maybe 2.
1, 2 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and he's come back on fire. Like he drilled that ball into the wall last night. Absolutely drilled it. That was a huge that won the game. Like 100% won the game. And of course, he had the home run a couple of days before. So like it's great to see him back, and that's a really positive sign. The fact that it looks like he's already kind of like comfortable and ready to go. That was a good sign because normally if you come back from injury, maybe you'll need a week or 2 to get into the rhythm of it because he's been out for so long. But the fact he's already drilling pitches off the wall is a great sign. So let's hope for more of that from Big G because we desperately need Big G. With or without Judge, a lot of it comes down to Big G's protection.
Yeah, no, it's all it is. But it's, I think having, we had said, despite of the productivity from Stanton and Donaldson, just having their presence in the lineup, because you never know when they're just gonna, you don't know when they're gonna go off on a tear, because once they get hot, it's gonna last for a couple of days. It's not like they're not gonna hit for average. They're just gonna go through power bursts. And we saw that with Donaldson. We saw it with Stanton, and coming back hitting a home run. It's the length of the lineup is actually going to be so crucial to getting that final ground on the Rays, because you got to imagine at some point the Rays are going to level off, and I kind of think they're on the cusp of that because they haven't been playing as crisp as they were in the beginning of the year. They're still winning some games. I'm not going to take anything away from them, but they don't look as dominant in their series anymore. And so now's the time, which makes it even more painful that all these Yankees are hurt, because now's the perfect time with our schedule to really start to push the numbers.
Well, what's up, Rob?
He's trying to trade Stanton again. He was doing so well today, and then right at the end.
Worried that Rob saw some news about Judge or something like that. I was, oh no! Okay, we're okay. It's just LI doing LI things. That's fine. We can live with that. Tats, why don't you announce to our viewers what me and you are doing this evening?
Yes, so Donald has so graciously decided that he is going to co-host with me on the Pinstripe Express show at 6 p.m. We will be interviewing Scott Braun from MLB Network and the Foul Territory podcast. So looking forward to that. So that will be a live show. So if you want to pop on, hang out, throw some questions towards Scott. We're going to talk about a couple of different things. It'll be a half-hour show. So we're grateful that at least that he's going to be hanging out with us for a little while. But come hang out tonight, Donald and I, Scott Braun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
And on that note, we are going to sign off on our show this morning, and we hope you all enjoy the Yankees off day. New series starts tomorrow. We will be back, the three of us, on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. And so make sure you hit that notification bell so you always know when we schedule our next shows.
And then,
you guys always.
And then after 6 p.m., be sure to check out the Big Blue in the Bronx channel, Boys in the Big Apple. We'll be breaking down the Yankees and the Mets and the NBA Finals. So you can check us out at 8 p.m. after the interview with Scott Braun. Sorry, Tats.
Nope, that's all right. No, let us know where you're going to be. But as always, this has been the Pinstripe Chronicles. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.